O avem alături de noi pe Gabriela Stănică, CIO în cadrul Carrefour România și un membru CIO Council pe care mi-e întotdeauna drag să îl urmăresc.
Mulțumesc frumos, Hugo, mersi pentru invitație. Am să vă rog să-mi permiteți să-mi fac prezentarea în engleză din două motive. Unul, că mi-am scris speaker notes-urile în engleză și doi, că le-am văzut pe fete care au tradus toată dimineața și poate vor să iau pauză. Și cred că mai avem și colegi în sală care vorbesc limba engleză, mai văd căști pe urechi. So, I will switch in English. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invitation, Hugo. It's a very important topic today to discuss, artificial intelligence, Gen AI, and so on and so forth. I listened to the panels, and I'm looking forward for the next panels and topics. In fact, when Hugo called me, I said, "But Hugo, what do you want me to say this year about artificial intelligence? Because honestly, all the year was about Cora integration and the e-invoice." Then I reflected a bit back and I said, well, we started our journey on, we started our journey on artificial intelligence actually 3 years ago. And we had a couple of scenarios. We had a couple of use cases that we managed to scale and bring value to the business. So I thought it's good to share with you how we did it, what we learned, and what was the impact on the business from those initiatives, even though some of you may have heard about them last year. And I will share with you still one important initiative with artificial intelligence that we implemented this year in the middle of the craziness with e-invoice. Sorry, I still have scars on my back. We managed to implement one more use case which is scalable and it's used by the business. But before we go into what we did at Carrefour, I wanted to share with you some numbers which for me are still mind-blowing. There are some numbers from McKinsey from 2022 when they said that the market size of retail artificial intelligence was valued at $6 billion USD. And they said it's most likely going to grow 30% year on year, and it's going to reach in 2032 at 100 billion USD. Honestly, looking at how the things are evolving, I think it's going to be more. And I also think that what's interesting is that in 2022, there were some interviews with people from retail, and like in any other industry, 62% of the retailers, they said, we do not believe in AI, we don't want to do AI, it's going to steal our job and it's not going to help. This is what happened in a variety of interviews. However, the reality is that artificial intelligence is helping retail. There are real use cases, there are real technologies, some of them I know of, some of them I don't, so if you have any new ideas for me, I would appreciate. I will tell you what I know about today and what we did, but I want to learn more for the future and do more. The fact in retail is that it's complex. Like many other industries, it is very complex. With every store that we open, with every acquisition that we do, with every system from the ANAF, with every supplier, with everything, the complexity is growing. Probably you know that at retail, global retail, there are over 4,000 exabytes per day. It's huge numbers. And also the competitors coming with new ideas and so on, it's very complex. In any case, artificial intelligence, it helps to put some order in this complexity, and it helps a lot to the business. So if we look at the use cases for the retail industry, couple of them, it's clear that it touches the entire chain, from the customer side to the stores, to the merchandise and assortment, and also to the logistics. So I think everyone knows about the personalization, about the chatbots. It's almost like a normality now, so it's not something very sexy anymore, but it's there and it's helping the business. Then if we speak about the stores, store operations, it's a lot of technology for the stores. We speak about the fraud detection, we speak about the autonomous stores, we speak about frictionless checkout and so on and so forth. And the technologies are there. The next one is merchandise and assortment. Super powerful solutions on this area, particularly on the price, promotion, markdown, but not only, right? These are solutions that are helping retailers hugely. And you will see what we did. I think it's very important. You see some practical examples and what we managed to do, what we didn't manage to do, what mistakes we did along the way, and how we are thinking to approach the future. Last but not least is artificial intelligence in logistic fulfillment and delivery. The complexity, as you can imagine, for over 400 stores with a bunch of warehouses, with over 50,000 SKUs, with products that are about to expire, that you have to manage a life cycle, it's huge. It's almost impossible to do it in the standard way, the normal way, without having a huge cost, a big number of people, and waste. Because we started to speak a lot about the waste. So how do we manage these things without the proper technology and artificial intelligence? Now, our journey in Carrefour. And I will share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So in 2022, we implemented the first solution on artificial intelligence. And obviously, we started from the customer. And we started from the business need. They were actually wondering, it was a management meeting, and I said, but we cannot react quickly to the comments in the online, in the social. There are comments on TikTok, there are comments on Facebook, on Instagram, and so on and so forth. So they wanted to be able to understand what are the topics that consumers are talking about, either being about Carrefour or about our competitors, and more importantly, how do they feel about it, right? So they wanted to understand the context, because obviously if you look at the word itself, it doesn't say much. You need to understand the context, and you need to be able to reply, and why not manage some crisis, right? Because those trends on the topic can generate crisis that if you are not able to foresee with the right technology, you cannot do it. In any case, we implemented community management and social listening for our marketing colleagues to do all of those things. And it was, I must admit now, quite easy, right? We were quite encouraged. Said, wow, this is going great. So it was quickly adopted by the business. We had limited data integration, honestly, because we didn't have to go into our ERPs and do all sorts of data cleaning and so on and so forth. And we had clear and measurable business outcome. So they were able to see what is the impact and so on. So we got a lot of courage, and we said we have to move to the next one. The next one was in 2023, and we implemented the fraud detection at the self-checkout and not only, right? So why do so? Because of multiple reasons. The risk of fraud, either you want or you don't want to do fraud at the self-checkout. Also the frictionless with the security guy when he comes and he's checking your products and so on is not something that you really want to happen. So we started the implementation in one store. We decided to do it in one pilot store. And the solution was great. But when we went live, we realized our network is not good enough. The solution was based on visual AI. Our network was not capable of replying so fast in the real time with huge amount of data, because basically it understands the movement of the consumer. It analyzes what you do, how you do, and then you need to have the reply back immediately, right? So what we realized then is that we have to upgrade our network in all the stores. And we did a massive upgrade of the network in all the stores. And moreover, we implemented CD1, very proud of that. I think we are the only Carrefour market which managed to do CD1 in all the stores, and also the zero-touch provisioning. So along with the challenge and the willingness to put the visual AI, we uncovered some of the things that it's not that we are not aware, but we are not aware how important the foundation is for such solutions. Of course, another investment, but well made. The second one was price. Price in Carrefour and anywhere is a very sensitive topic, right? We are changing the prices maybe on a daily basis, based on the competition, based on the strategy, based on, there are a lot of parameters to be taken into account. And obviously it takes a lot of manual work and it requires timely decision and timely implementation. And for us, honestly, it's 60,000 SKUs. It's very hard to choose the right price for your strategy. So we decided to go and implement a solution with artificial intelligence. Again, this time we were a bit more, okay, who knows what it will come, because look what happened with fraud detection. In this case, the biggest challenge we had was the quality of the data, because good prediction or recommendation on the price requires historical good data and the right data. It's a very sensitive topic, right? If the machine will decide the price, yeah, you need to make sure that the data that they are looking at and train on, it's the right one. So we did a lot of cleanup on the data, and we managed to implement the solution in approximately 8 months. Do you know how much it took for the business to adopt it? Almost 1 year. Because they wanted to start in a controlled environment, they wanted to start see the results of the artificial intelligence, be sure that it makes sense, that it doesn't go wild, and so on and so forth. So the technical solution was there, the data was there, but still we had to stay close to the business and help them to accept, understand, make the change management to do the solution. Now it's everyone is happy, less manual work, good results, so I think it was a good one. Now, in the Magic 2024, we moved to addressing the markdown. Markdown, I will tell you a bit about this project. Of course, markdown, for the ones which are not in retail, I'll give the definition a bit later, but it's basically the end of the season or the final price reduction, right? So here, you have to know when, how, and how much you want to decrease the price. And you have to balance, do I want to get rid of the stock, because the guys from logistics, they have big costs there. Do I want to protect the margin, or do I want to provide to the customer a product that still he might use? You don't want to sell swimming pools in November, for example, right? So this was the project that we did in 2024. I said at the beginning we didn't do much. We actually, now I think we did. But we were able to do it in 1 year because we knew how to address the data quality issues from the price. So we capitalized on the price experience and on the price data. So as I said, markdown is the permanent price decrease for the products. In our context, we have a bunch of buyers, right? The people who are negotiating the products with the suppliers. And the promotions, and also they have to decide when to do the discount of the product. And it was all over the place, to be honest. Emails, Excels, XYZ. It was a lot of manual work and very, very cumbersome process. Moreover, no one could be able to track or have a clear understanding of, did we do the discount on the right moment of time? Could we have done it differently, and so on and so forth. And therefore, you couldn't know if you did it efficiently, if your finance will obviously ask you. So our ambition was to, first of all, to get rid of the manual work for the company, to automate the process, and also measure the performance and do the action in the right time from a customer perspective, logistic perspective, and margin perspective. So this is just an example how typically the markdowns are being made when you do not have AI. So you can, I hope it can be seen. But basically what happens, you keep a product at a certain price, and then you realize you have to decrease it, and you decrease it sharply. This is what typically happens. And you have more or less 1 or 2 decreases in a year to get rid of the stock. Finally, when you see you cannot sell it, okay, let's decrease it. Here, obviously, you lose profit, customers are not happy, and then the logistic, could not get the Christmas thing because they still have the summer products in the warehouse. With AI, and I will explain how we do it, with AI actually based on a set of, first of all, you need to define your strategy for the markdown, and it's the same in pricing. And you need to be very clear on the process, on the steps, on who does what, right? In order to be able to implement the solution to support it. And for us in markdown, this was a huge challenge. I wouldn't use the word discipline, but maybe yes. So basically to have a structured process, to discuss with the people that are doing the configuration in the tool, and be clear that the markdown is almost like a mathematical process, right? So having said that, after months of discussions with all the departments, with AI, and I will explain you how, you are able to create some events for some categories of products based on a set of parameters. And I will explain a bit the parameters without going into too much detail. So based on those rules, which are very sophisticated and can be very configurable, the system will propose what is the best moment to do the markdown, where, for how long, and then how many times you will have to decrease the price in order to reach a final stage. So even though we had the experience in pricing with markdown, we had the same approach. We did a pilot for a certain category, for a certain store, for the buyer to get comfortable that the system is not going wild. So in the first months, they were looking at the price, they were checking, and they will approve. They still do it. I don't believe we're going to get in a world where it's going to just be provisioned in the electronic shelf labels, but the amount of work and the accuracy, it's miles away. So to conclude, right, as I said, the solution, and it's scalable, identifies the best markdown plan. But it is able to do so because we were able to discuss a lot of process, put some standard across it. We have good quality data, and we have a huge set of parameters that the system can think through. So basically, it looks complicated here. In reality, it's even more. But you can define an event or multiple events per group of products. You can qualify those products in a certain group, and for that particular group, you apply a set of rules. Initially, this is how you configure, but then the system is going to learn and is going to evolve as we go, right? I think the rule sets are quite interesting, right? Because if you look there are four main. You have the strategy, you have the pricing, the timing, and the consistency. But then if you go down, right, in the strategy, for each and every category, you can say, I want to minimize the inventory, this is my strategy, or I want to protect the margin, or a combination of both. And you can put a weight. You can decide. And it's not like you're going to set it up and it's going to be there forever. You can adjust, but ideally you don't want to adjust it too often. Then on the pricing, you can decide in the configuration the type of markdown. You can decide the minimum and maximum steps for the discount. You can also decide the percentage of price change. For example, you say, I don't want to decrease it 20% in 2 steps. I want to decrease it 10% in 4 steps, and that whatever. And also you can decide what is the final price reduction on the markdown. Right, so once you set this up and the data is there and the months are going and so on and so forth, the price, the moment, the discount will be recommended for all the products that are in a certain category. Also, the timing is important, right? You can set up how many days between a certain discount. Do I want to do it over the weekend? Do I want to do it during the weekdays? What is the timing? Or maybe I want to do it during back to school or Easter or whatever, right? You can really set those up and the system will take it into account. And then is the consistency. Here I would like to highlight one important thing. I think the discount needs to be made in the context of the price. probably you saw or I experienced, you see a major discount for a product, right, which is discounted product, and then you see a cannibalization with a similar product in the same store. So in this tool, you know what are the prices. After all, also you know what are your, how can I say, agreement with the suppliers. So the markdown will be recommended in the context of the regular pricing and keep the consistency at the family level, at the store level, at the strategy level, and so on and so forth. So this is what we did in Carrefour. It's big impact, I would say, and business is very happy. It was not an easy journey, but I think it's worth it. And for us as IT, we learned a lot, as I mentioned, along the journey. So I will just close now. For this, you are always asked about, did it work? Yes, it did. I think we are, no, I'm sure we are able to measure the impact, to measure the results. And we call it benefits, and then on the killer features, I think we spoke about. Everything is automatic to the provision on the electronic shelf labels. And I will close by saying that artificial intelligence solutions are not cheap. You need to have a really solid business case, scalable artificial intelligence solution, maybe say it. You need to have a solid business case. You need to have the business on board. You need to have a proper training and change management. Do it in a controlled environment, and measure the results constantly in order to get funds for the next one. Thank you. Întrebări?
Any questions from the audience? Știam eu că nu trebuie să mă gândesc la ele, că...
Ok.
Merge.
Short one. External...
Acum pot să răspund în română, dacă...
ok, bun.
Relaxat.
Sunt foarte curioasă, toate use case-urile sunt super interesante, dar întrebarea mea este cu resurse interne sau resurse externe sau un mix între ele? Și ce ai recomandat, de fapt?
Da, e o întrebare foarte bună. Majoritatea soluțiilor pe care noi le-am implementat nu sunt făcute per se cu resurse interne. Sunt soluții destul de mature în piață. Și aici e o discuție pe când, cum alegi și dacă mergi pe intern, dacă mergi pe extern. În cazul nostru, pentru use case-urile de fraud detection, de price, de promo și așa mai departe, am realizat că sunt companii care au investit de peste 20-30 de ani în astfel de soluții și ne-am pus întrebarea, ne permitem să investim noi 2-3 ani și să credem că vom fi la fel de buni ca ei? Și am ajuns la concluzia că nu, că trebuie să o facem. Deci aici e o chestiune de apetit, dacă vă permite timpul să o faceți intern și dacă credeți că puteți fi mai buni decât cei care au investit o grămadă de bani în astfel de soluții. Pentru chestiuni scalabile care necesită, numai dacă mă gândesc la change management, dacă am fi făcut ceva pe price intern, cred că n-ar fi luat 5 ani. 4 să faci soluția și, nu, 3. Și 2 pentru adopție, da.
Hai, Mihai, ok.
Bună. Mi-a plăcut foarte mult, mai ales partea aia cu predicțiile și cu markdown-ul și vreau cumva să vin în completarea întrebării, lăsând la o parte partea de change management, că aia e pain in the ass pentru toată lumea. Curios sunt ca să știm în ce direcție să ne uităm. Dacă e să vorbim de tool-uri, poți să ne dai numele unuia dintre ele?
Da, dacă vă uitați pe Gartner, de exemplu, nu o să vă spun care e tool-ul pe care noi l-am ales, dar vă pot spune care sunt top soluții de pricing, promo și markdown. Este Demand Tech, care a fost al lui IBM, au niște probleme acum, dar aveau niște soluții bune pe pricing. Este Revionix, Yeldigo și mai sunt și jucători mai mari, dar din punctul nostru de vedere de retail, aceia au fost top 3 la care ne-am uitat și vă puteți duce cu încredere. Da, trebuie să aveți datele corecte și curate.
Mulțumesc frumos!
Eu v-am zis că dacă o aducem pe Gabriela, facem un workshop cu noi, adică at the end of the day, adică...
Dar nu uitați să-mi spuneți dacă aveți și alte idei, că da, ne-ar ajuta.
Hai să întreb eu, de regulă ne făceai câte un speech în care ne spuneai și care a fost impactul în revenues, în EBITDA, monitorizați, bănuiesc aceste aspecte?
Monitorizăm impactul, acum îl monitorizăm la 3 luni. E un subiect sensibil să vă dau niște cifre pe pricing și markdown. Da, vă pot spune că îl monitorizăm, avem un value measurement la fiecare 3 luni și a meritat investiția. Cu siguranță.
Vreau să clarific și o să spun o prostie acum și hai să lămurim și chestiunea asta. Deci voi ați implementat un proiect pentru că aveați o nevoie, nu pentru că trebuia să implementați AI, right?
Corect.
Da, deci de principiu pentru că în general piața vine și spune am un tool de AI, ok, dar eu am alte probleme. Poți să mă ajuți aici cu AI dacă vrei, arată-mi tool-ul care trebuie.
Da.
Și întotdeauna dăm acest mesaj către comunitatea de vendori care nu este aici, dar și care ne mai ascultă, că e bine să modelăm mesajele, mai ales când vorbim cu CIO de greutate. Da? Don't tell me că, ok, există trenduri, le înțelegem, le acceptăm, dar eu am problemele mele și business-ul are problemele lui și pe mine nu mă interesează dacă le rezolv cu latest tool sau un tool mai vechi, dar care mi-e at the end of the day de PNL-ul, nu? Trebuie
înțeleasă nevoia, trebuie cunoscute soluțiile disponibile din piață, discutat cu business-ul pentru a le explica care sunt potențial beneficiile și costurile și luat o decizie împreună și mers la drum împreună de la început. Pentru că altfel, dacă vine IT-ul cu o soluție de AI, cel mai probabil că...
Da, o să cadă pe spate. Zi-mi, ai zis ai nevoie de business on board. Iarăși știm că e nevoie de chestia asta pentru gest, dar zi-mi așa cam cum a funcționat la voi. Adică voi ați venit cu inițiativa, știm că business-ul are așa...
Da, de exemplu, pe situația de price și promo și mă bucur să am parte din echipa mea aici care a făcut diferența în proiect, Enterprise Architect și Raul, a fost oarecum ciudat, pentru că a venit marketingul și a zis eu vreau o soluție de management de promoții. Financiarul a zis eu vreau să măsor eficiența promoțiilor și marketingul a zis eu vreau să văd care e cel mai bun preț. Și ne-am găsit fiecare cât un tool, ne-au zis, ok. Haideți să stăm puțin la masă și să ne gândim cum am putea să o abordăm și i-am pus pe toți la masă, ne-am făcut temele, research-ul pe unde am putut pe Gartner cu arhitecții, cu băieții și am venit și le-am spus care e trendul, deci asta se întâmpla în 2021, care sunt opțiunile posibile și ce ar putea să facă o soluție de artificial intelligence care să pună toate la un loc. Și au înțeles și au fost mai mult decât încântați și ne-au fost sponsori și ne-au fost alături în proiect.
Ai spus de infrastructură, că nu suporta. Dă-ne un flavor așa. Adică ar trebui de fapt, mesajul către
Da, pe magazin avem 10 megabits MPLS și a trebuit să facem un upgrade la 100 fiber și SD-WAN.
Deci implementarea, practic, de soluții complexe vine și cu alte costuri suplimentare.
Absolut. În fapt, directorul nostru de securitate zicea, dar cum, nu văd imaginea, nu e bine, Fabriț.
Corect. Cât de important este echipa și calificările?
Echipa e fundamentală, chiar dacă, așa cum am spus mai devreme, în cazul ăsta am luat soluții mature de pe piață, am o echipă mică, dar sunt top. Ei înțeleg nevoia de business, înțeleg tehnologii și sunt capabili să participe în RFP-uri foarte sofisticate și să selecteze tehnologia potrivită pentru nevoia de business. Am o echipă super top și le mulțumesc.
Mulțumesc foarte mult, Gabriela Stănică!